Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. If you're welcome here. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Amber Rose, also known as the Religious Hippie. You could basically follow me on any social media platform, or you can go straight to my website at thereligioushippie.com. On my website, you'll find Haters Will Be Prayed for prayer journals, Haters Will Be Prayed for tumblers, St. Jude prayer mugs, economy rosaries, and a lot more. When you donate, you can receive one of these items, and I really appreciate it because every little bit counts to help keep this ministry running. And if you can't donate financially, please consider liking, subscribing, and sharing to help us with the algorithm. Thanks, guys. So this is episode 4 of the Help series. As you guys know, this is a series I do where I give you guys advice based on my own experiences and do my best to guide you guys in ways that I can. But I always like to say, please just know that because we're strangers, I'm going to have to assume some stuff, and you have to take my advice with a grain of salt. It's not going to work for everybody. Always talk about things with your priest and consult God before making any decisions. So let's get started with today's help segment. Hi Amber, I'd like to stay anonymous. I am a 16-year-old girl watching from Hungary who has found your channel to be such a treasure. Honestly, you are so kind and gentle, and your videos have helped me understand the faith so much better. So to begin, what I have to say, my family was all Catholic, but my grandparents lost their faith and never really practiced it as adults, except for my grandmother who died when I was 5. She was a strong Catholic and even visited the Holy Land twice. I remember her teaching me how to make the sign of the cross. She gifted me some children's prayer books as well, which my parents never gave to me. Other family members have made a mockery of her several times and spoke about her as if she was mentally disabled because of her religion. I have divorced parents. They were only married for 2 years. It ended when I was barely 2. Then my mom got together with my stepfather and had two sisters out of wedlock. Their relationship became worse and worse ever since, and nowadays almost the only times they talk is when they fight, living in one household. My father had a relationship after the divorce and had a child, my brother, and 4 years ago they broke up. My grandparents were also divorced when my father was little. So I come from a long line of divorces. I often feel rootless in a sense, growing up without stability and familiar harmony. Since coming to God and finding home in Catholicism about a year ago, I realized how I grew up is far from God's design and intention. My family is very anti-Christian, anti-marriage basically. Please help me if you can and pray for me. Any recommendations on how to stay strong but kind and respect my parents even though going against their will in my lifespan would help. Thank you so much for reading it all the way. Sorry for the long letter. God bless, Amber. You are a wonderful daughter of the Lord. You're so sweet, and I'm so sorry that you have to go through this. This amount of division, no child should ever have to experience this at such a young age. Let alone, such a long line of division in the family. But your words are so sweet, so I'm going to see if I can help in some ways. And I know we'll all be keeping you in our prayers. Now, it is a little difficult because you're young. I'm not exactly sure if what you meant is you found a home in the church as if you came back to the church, or if you were baptized in the church and now you are Catholic because you have all the sacraments. I'm not exactly sure of the situation, but if you haven't received all of your sacraments and there's a Catholic church nearby you, I highly suggest calling them and seeing if they have an RCIA program. If you ever get to speak with a priest there, I think that would be really, really helpful. However, here are 2 main things that come to mind for me that I think you can do to help. The first one, and it might be obvious, but I think it's really important, is to learn about the faith as much as possible. Catholic Answers is probably the best resource I've ever found, but there are also a lot of other resources on YouTube like Ascension Presents, Word on Fire, Council of Trent, that's COUNSEL, and there's a bunch of other Catholic YouTubers online that you can find and maybe get some inspiration from and learn from. Learn as much as you possibly can. Buy books about the Catholic faith and learn about the dogmas of the church, learn about the catechism, learn about why we believe what we believe. I think that's so important. And if you can't buy books for whatever reason, because you're in Hungary or because your parents might find out, whatever, let me know. I would be more than happy to send you some books. You can also listen to some really good Catholic podcasts. I don't listen to too many Catholic podcasts. The main one I listen to is Trending with Timmery from Relevant Radio, and then also What in the Dang Heck with Meg and Cecilia. So I don't know of too many podcasts, but if you guys have suggestions, please put them in the comments below for this girl. The reason I say to learn as much as you can about the faith is because the more you grow in the faith, the more you'll be able to tell your family why you believe what you believe. Because, I mean, it's just a matter of time, if they haven't already, that they start asking questions. They might be a little rude about it, depending, I don't know how your family situation is. But if you're going against their will, they're probably not going to be the happiest about it, but you'll be able to answer their questions the more you know about your faith, and you'll be able to plant that seed for them. Now, there are going to be arguments and situations where you're just going to have to walk away and pray for that person. It's really hard. You're really young, and you shouldn't have to face that type of ridicule from your own family. But unfortunately, it's something that some of us are faced with. It's a cross we have to bear. But just know that praying for them does way more than arguing with them. So you can plant the seed, you can be that example to them of somebody who is going to break the chain. I think that's so powerful, and that's so important, that you are going to be the one who breaks the cycle of division. And you never know, your testimony might convert them someday. So yes, it's a different day. My SD card was full, and for some reason I didn't think to empty it before I started a new video. So here we are. As I was saying, marriage is under attack these days. And two resources that I really like that kind of cover this topic and how you can bring marriage back is What in the Dang Heck podcast, and then the Anti-Marry Exposed by Carrie Gress. The Anti-Marry Exposed is a book, and then the What in the Dang Heck podcast is a podcast. So What in the Dang Heck is Meg and Cecilia, and they talk about marriage. Both of their husbands are in the military, and so they talk about being, good Catholic wives, and then also all the struggles that come with that, being a homemaker. And so I really love their podcast because I think it shows hardships, but then also the good moments and, how you can grow in virtue as a wife and all those things. So I think that's a really good resource. It's kind of just like you're having a conversation with them. It's very relaxed, which I enjoy. And then Carrie Gress, the Anti-Marry Exposed book, that kind of dives into the feminist movement and why we have all these issues we do today with like divorce, pornography, all of that stuff. So I highly suggest those two resources. And the second thing you can do is start a prayer routine. Starting a good prayer routine is really going to help you with these difficult situations with family, because you're going to be rooted in God, and so God will be able to give you that peace, that knowledge, and that comfort when certain situations like this pop up. So for example, my prayer routine every day looks something, but it's subject to change, but usually I do a morning offering in the morning, Divine Mercy Chaplet at 3 p.m. or my rosary, and then at night I do my Guardian Angel prayer, Saint Michael prayer, and 3 Hail Marys for those who persecute me or enemies or whatever, that type of thing. I know this is a really difficult time, so I hope this helps, and just know that God is calling you to Him, and being obedient to Him is what counts. Okay, moving on to our next question. Hello, I hope this is not a silly question, because I have been struggling with this for a while. Basically, my problem is I would like to do things such as pray or read the Bible or pray the rosary. However, I feel as though I am not physically clean enough to do these things. I am not sure if this is helpful, but I have OCD and this might be the reason for this problem. Anyways, my question is, what exactly do I have to do before praying of any kind or reading the Bible? Wash my hands, shower, change clothes, all of this? Do I need to clean my environment as well? I am so stressed about this. I love your content and hope you can help. Sincerely, a struggling Catholic teenage girl. Hey, so thanks for writing in. This does sound like a very severe case of OCD. You don't have to shower, you don't have to clean your space, you don't have to wash your hands 10 times. This is all the OCD talking to you. This is not God. This is not what you need to do before prayer. You can speak to God anywhere at any time for whatever reason. There's no specific ritual you have to do. Obviously we do the sign of the cross, but you don't even have to do that before praying. God is available to us whenever and wherever we are. He doesn't need anything specific or special from you in order to talk to Him. He's just happy that you're there and you're willing to talk to Him and you want to talk to Him and have a relationship with Him. That's what really matters. So please do not stress about this. He is a loving, kind Father. I know you said you're a teenager, so this is a really exciting and difficult time in life. Been there. I feel that it can be a real struggle sometimes, but there's also a lot of ups, But I do suggest that you see a Catholic therapist. I do believe that Catholic therapists are very helpful in these situations, and I always suggest a Catholic therapist over a secular therapist who might suggest things that go against the faith, and you don't want to have to fight them on that. I'm linking below a website where you'll be able to find a Catholic therapist. Definitely check with your parents first and make sure that they're on board because they're going to be the ones who are paying for the therapy, but I do believe that in this situation, therapy is necessary. So I hope this helps. I'm praying for you. Keep me updated. And so today I'm doing 3 help segments because all of these were so short. I decided to just kind of put them all in together. So this is our third and final help segment of today. Hello, Amber. Thank you for doing this new series. I'm writing to see if you could discuss alternatives to the pill for girls with period irregularities. I've struggled with this over the past year, likely due to stress. I know a lot of doctors prescribe the pill for issues like this, but I was wondering what the other options are. How could I approach this with my doctor or others who want to know why I won't go on the pill? I'd also like to stay anonymous. Thanks. So I think it's really annoying that sometimes the first things doctors do when they hear women are having issues with their monthly is to instantly just put them on the pill without doing any further research or tracking their cycle or being like, hey, do you track your cycle? Do you know what this means? Do you know what phase you're in? Do you know the last time you ovulated? Do you know any of this? How long are your period cycles? Are they painful? Are they not? Are you taking supplements? All of these things play a huge role into our third vital, as people call it. So, being able to understand your body and your menstrual cycle is really going to help you understand any kind of health conditions you might have. I've heard of so many women who have had underlying health conditions and they got off the pill because they were like, I don't want to do this anymore. It makes me feel horrible. And there's a bunch of other reasons why you should not be taking the pill if you're Catholic. For starters, it is a type of abortion pill. It's a carcinogen. It can cause cancer. There's so many things that can happen on the pill, and it's just women should not be taking it in general, no matter what it is. So my suggestion to you is to start tracking your cycles. There are tons of videos online how to do it. There's plenty of books. I personally have a coach, a NAPRO coach, NAPRO. NAPRO technology, NAPRO stands for Natural Procreative Technology. It's really, really good. It's how you chart your cycles naturally, and it's so important for women to be charting their cycles. Some women have never even heard of NAPRO. And so for those women who get off the pill, they're like, I want to have kids now, or it just makes me feel terrible. One of the reasons they discover NAPRO, and then their underlying symptoms that they have been dealing with since they were 12 get solved. Things like PMS, PCOS, ovarian cysts. There are so many things that NAPRO technology can help with that doctors just don't want to deal with. They're just willing to put, and some doctors actually don't know. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt as well. Sometimes they're not trained in this area either. The last NFP meeting I had, natural family planning meeting I had with my NAPRO doctor, Lisa Jersky, we actually had a student who was training to be a doctor sit in so she could understand the NAPRO side of things. Because for her, she really wanted to have that option for her patients. And I think that's really important. And not a lot of doctors are doing that these days. So we need more of that. I just started tracking my cycles a couple months ago, and it has changed my life. I didn't even know about 90% of the things that I'm learning right now. I do the Creighton method, which is where you finger test and you go based off of how things look versus like there's some other types out there where you go off of body temperature or, you have to pee on a stick. Like there's a bunch of different types out there. But for me, the Creighton method is the most thorough and most accurate in my opinion, and so that's why it's my favorite. It took a little while to understand how to do it, but once you learn it, it's like riding a bike. You never forget. I honestly don't know how I survived without tracking my cycle for so long. It has helped me in so many ways understand my body and the levels of stress I'm going through and why my body's reacting the way it does. If it's irregular periods, you'll be able to track that and understand. And then when you meet up with a NAPRO doctor or something, they'll be able to help you with supplements. Like my hormones, I was working with Lisa, and I was able to balance my hormones through supplements with like beef liver, beef organs. Yeah, it sounds gross, but honestly, it's not that bad. Vitamins and just supplements that do not require me to put a pill in my body that makes my body fight itself or turn off reactors that should be going because it's healthy. Our menstrual cycle is our third vital sign. If there's something wrong with the menstrual cycle, there's something wrong somewhere else, and NAPRO technology is able to get down to that and not just cover it like a band-aid. And they're actually able to heal and fix and help women who have gone through painful periods their whole life. So I highly suggest finding a NAPRO doctor. I'm linking below my NAPRO doctor if you want to check her out. But do your own research, see what works for you. But I highly suggest getting a coach, somebody who can help you understand. It's just like a regular doctor. They can read your chart with you and tell you like, okay, so this is where we have, irregular bleeding. This is where you're most fertile, this is where you're not fertile, etc. And they'll be able to understand and diagnose certain issues that you might not even be aware of. So I do hope that helps, but I'm glad you're asking these questions because I think more women need to ask these kinds of questions. And when you go into a doctor's office and they're just like, oh, well, we're going to prescribe the pill, tell them it goes against your religion. Tell them like, no, sorry, I can't do that. It goes against my religion. Or you don't even have to bring religion into it. You could just say, at this time, I don't want to do that. You have a voice, you have bodily anatomy, you can say no. You can say no to them and be like, no, I'm not doing that. And you can even list the reasons as to why. It's a carcinogen, abortifacient, and it just wrecks women's bodies. It's awful for women. So thank you for asking these questions. I hope this helped, and anybody else who's interested in NAPRO technology, hopefully this kind of information will get you thinking about it, researching it, and you guys can find somebody who works for you. And with all of that being said, guys, that is it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Bye!